Hi guys, it's Miss Moomey back for another art video. Today, I brought my favorite buddies here, my furry babies. This is Beans. I introduced you on another video, but you might not remember. And this is Pom Pom, my pointer. They're so busy, I can barely keep them still today. So, anyway, I thought they would inspire me a little bit to draw dogs today. So doesn't that sound like fun? So we're going to talk about the different shapes of dogs and how to draw different dogs. And we should have fun. So let's jump right in. Okay, one of the tricky things about drawing dogs is that dogs do have a lot in common. They all have 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, 2 ears, 4 legs. But they're different sizes. They're different shapes. For one, Beans here has a short nose, not a long nose like Pom Pom does. She's got a long skinny nose. And so, and they've got different shaped eyes and different shaped mouths. And particularly with these two, she's got pointy ears. They stand up most of the time. And Pom Pom's ears are floppy and low. So these are just different shapes we're going to be looking at as we draw the dogs and decide how we're going to draw them, or how you can draw yours at home. Okay, so let's look at Beans for a second. She's mostly this part of her face. Didn't she just love this? She wants to go run and chase Pom Pom in the yard, so that's why she's paying attention. Notice her face is mostly a circle. I mean, it's not a perfect circle, but it's mostly a circle. And then her eyes on her face like ours are. Her nose is in between the 2 eyes, but a little bit lower. And their little mouth almost has like 2 little lines coming down like that. And then her ears are on top. So we're going to try to draw her first. Let's see how that's going to go. Alright. So I don't need a whole lot today. I've got my paper and a clipboard, so I got something to bear down on. And I've got my pencil and a marker. The Sharpies to help you see it better. I would rather draw with the pencil, that way I could draw lightly and erase things as I go, and that's what I suggest for you. But since I want you to be able to see it, then obviously you want to use a pencil first. So here I'm just gonna sketch a little shape of the face. The top of her head is rounded like a rainbow. There she is. And then the bottom of her face is a little smaller. Notice I'm going back over with a couple of different lines. With the pencil, I do that a lot, where I draw lightly and I kind of shade it in and kind of do a rough sketch first. Okay, so for sure, off this basic circle I've got, her ears definitely look like triangles. But there's a tricky thing about her. With her having pointy ears, and we don't want her to look like a cat, her ears are a little more rounded. So we're going to do 2 triangles, or like a letter A, but I want to make sure the top of it is a little more rounded, or it's going to look like a triangle. So I'm going to go, from here I'm going to go up, curve a little, come back down. Got that? Up, curve a little, come back down. Those may even look kind of bunny-ish. You can add a little edge if you want. This one's a better shape than this one, but I am drawing upside down, so. Alright, anyway, we've got her face shape and her ears. Maybe you've got a small dog that's got pointy ears. Even if it's not a Boston Terrier like mine, it may still have the same shape. Kind of like a Chihuahua might look like that, or anything small. So her nose is short, so we're going to draw her nose right into the middle. So I'm going to start with, hey Mom, kind of a rainbow shape. And then I'm going to come down. I'm going to go ahead and draw her mouth. Her mouth is like 2 curved lines coming down. Because it's like her nose is attached to her with her mouth coming straight off of it. So kind of like the bunny we drew. It's kind of a triangle shape for the nose, but more rounded, way more rounded. So we've got her nose, and we've got her mouth, and then her eyes are kind of close together. So we're gonna put those about right here. So when I draw circles like that, I like to start with a rainbow shape. That way I can kind of get my shape in there where I want them. And then a smiley face. And then dogs are like people. They have an iris, the colored part, and then they have the pupil, which is the black part, and they have just a little bit of white showing, not so much as we do. So I'm just going to draw another slight circle, just 2 curved lines inside the eye. I'm going to do the same thing on the other. And then I'm going to add a circle inside for the black pupils. And if you'll add a little circle inside the pupil and leave it white, that always helps make them look a little more realistic. You can put that little circle inside there wherever you want. So when you go back to color your dog, Bean's eyes are blue and brown, so I would color just this part right here, not the little parts on the outside. Leave those white, but color that brown or blue or whatever color your dog's eyes are. Okay, so I've got her face, which is pretty simple. I could even bring this shape back kind of around. They kind of have these little pieces that come down from their nose to their mouth. And I add a few dots in there. I would probably go ahead and do a smiley face shape at the bottom, or you could do a tongue. You could draw a lower, like a U shape, make a little tongue showing. So there she is. Now what makes her very unique is her stripes or her spots. So I'm going to come down and draw a spot there, and maybe another spot over here. So when I go back and color it. So I've got her face, and so now I'm ready to do her body. Now we've talked about looking perspective as which way to look as you're looking at something. As far as Beans is going, I'm looking straight at her, straight in her face, not from the side, not from the back. So I'm going to be seeing her sitting straight too. So when dogs sit, they tend to sit with their legs straight in front of them. Their front legs are in front of them, and their back legs are kind of like this on either side, because they're kind of sit down and then their little hips stick out. So let's try to imitate that. So I'm going to start at the head. I'm going to come down and then curve up to make one of the front legs. So watch. So I'm going to go down, curve, and then I stop. I don't want to go all the way to the top unless you have a stripe or a spot there. Now let's do the other side the same way. Down, come up. Notice I kind of curved a little bit to kind of imitate their shoulders. They have little shoulders too. And then I'm going to connect from leg to leg. That's where they're sitting on the ground. See that okay? Now let's do her hips. So I'm going to curve like that on the outside. I'm going to go out and back in. See how that shape? Let's do the same thing on the other side. Same spot. Curve. And out and back in. That way she has a little bit of a foot showing. Now if yours has a tail, ours does not. But on one side of the dog, because he only has one tail, you just kind of go out and in. Mine doesn't have a tail, but I'll draw it just for you. Alright, I want to go back and add some more spots to Beans, because she is very spotty. See how I added those stripes? And that way I can go back and I can color in here and color in here and color in around this eye. And of course I won't cover the eye up. Now this of course is not perfectly drawn. I just did a quick sketch of her. I've done better before when I've taken my time a little bit, of course. But just for you to have a very simple shape in mind. The main thing about anything you draw is being able to see the shapes and break it down into pieces, no matter what it is. And so that's what I want you to be able to see here. We used really basic shapes, really basic lines. Alright, so now we're going to try to draw Pom Pom, which she has a little longer nose. So let me see if I can get her over here so we can look at her for a second. Alrighty, so I've caught Pom Pom for at least for a minute till she goes and runs, chases after some more birds. She loves chasing birds. And you know what's the really funny thing? They love jumping on the trampoline with my daughter. It's hilarious. Both of them love jumping. So, anyway, well, I thought you'd like to see the difference. Now, Beans' nose is really short. Look at Pom Pom's nose. Now, it's really long and pointy. And she's got floppy ears that hang down low. Right? Say hi. There's Beans. She's trying to pop in the shot. Pom Pom doesn't like being videoed, it doesn't look like. Anyway, she's got two eyes, just like Beans does, and a nose, and a mouth. And you can see her looking from the front. Now she has a nice circle. Be still for me. Sit down. Sit down. Sit. Good girl. She kind of has a rounded face, and then she has this pointy part in the front. She'd be really pretty to draw from the side too, because she's got a pretty profile, don't you? Okay, let me let her down and let's try to draw her. Hang on just a second. Okay, now to try to draw a dog with a longer nose. And the trick to this is that where you draw their eyes and where you draw their nose is going to be a little different. You're going to have to spread them out more. Where with the Boston Terrier picture and the smaller dog with the flatter nose, their nose and eyes are close together. So on this one, we're going to spread it out some. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It'll be so much easier if we were drawing it from the side to be able to see her nose and how long it is. But being from the front, it's a little tricky. So first we're going to draw the nose. We're going to start about in the center of our paper. And the shape I'm going to draw is kind of starting almost like the top of a heart. And then come down, rounded. Now, her eyes are going to be way up here. So first let's draw the little part that comes down, their little jowls that cover their, they don't have lips like we do, so they have these little jowls that come over their teeth. So, look, we're going to come down, so I did that, kind of a W shape. And then I'm going to leave a little space up here. So that is the nose. I know it's not perfect. So under here, we're going to have a U shape because that is her bottom lip. So you can already tell, because of this length we've drawn here, because of the way we drew the nose, it's going to make her look like she's got a long nose. So up here, where I stopped, is about where my eyes are going to go. So I want to add a circle here, a circle here. Same thing if you want to add some little curves inside the eyes. Maybe little white dots. Alright, from the eyes, we're going to come up some more. We're going to curve at the top of her head, because just kind of a curve at the top. I kind of put a little dip in the middle, because if you ever felt the dog's head, like labs have the same thing, there's kind of like a little dent in the middle. Alright, so we've got nose, there's where the big part of the nose is sticking out, her mouth, her eyes, Now we need to do her ears. Her ears are floppy. If you have a long-nosed dog with pointed ears, then you're going to want to go up with your ears like we did with Beans. But I want to show you how to do floppy ears. Kind of like a lab or a pointer or a golden retriever. So I'm going to come out. I'm going to go down and kind of make like a triangle and come back up. Now maybe you have a basset hound. They have really long ears, so you'll want to keep going. Same thing on the other side. I'm kind of drawing a hump coming out from the head. Down, back up. It's not great, but it's getting there. Now we want to connect the face. You can go back and add a little something to your ears. Maybe you might want to make them a little longer. Maybe your ears have spots on them. And add some curvy, some wavy lines on there to add some spots. Now all we've got to head right now. It's kind of floating around in midair, so we need to do his her body. Because she's bigger, we're going to do it a little different. So we're just going to go off the page. And we've got small paper, which is fine. I like drawing a little bit bigger. You have a little more, you can see better what you're doing. And if you hone in just on the face instead of the face and the body, you get to do a little more with the face, which is where the character really is in the dog. So anyway, I'm going to come down from the face. I'm starting up here about the middle. Now I'm going to come all the way down off the page, both sides. So that's the front of her. That's where the legs would be if they came on down. And maybe to do some spots down here. So there's my rendition of Pom Pom. And then of course I drew my picture of Beans. So I also want to share with you today a little bit about one of my favorite artists. I'm going to add some videos, some pictures of one of my favorite artists. He has a whole series of artwork based on his dog. His name is George Rodrigue, and he did the Blue Dog. You may have seen it and not realized that it was a really famous artwork. Actually, he's an artist from Louisiana, so he's an American artist, and he's you know, he's younger, so he hasn't been around, you know, super long. He's still around, unlike Van Gogh and some of the famous artists of the past. So anyway, his Blue Dog started with his favorite dog named Tiffany, and I don't know that she's literally blue. She's probably like a blue heeler, and so he kind of went with the blue. But he's got all these different themes that go around her, and he tends to do her very simple, and a drawing of her so you can really spot that picture of the Blue Dog every time you see a picture of his. You know it's his, and I really love it. And so I'm going to share some of that with you on the video too, so that you can see that and maybe you get a little inspired by that artist as well. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed our video today. I hope you had fun drawing dogs, and I hope you can adapt it to the dog that you have at home. If your dog is fluffy or fuzzy, don't forget about texture. Maybe you need to make your lines a little fluffier or rougher around the edges if you have a fluffy dog. My dogs are short-haired, so they aren't so fluffy anymore. So anyway, I hope you had fun today. I sure did, and I will see you soon. So here's George Rodrigue. He is an American painter from Louisiana. I do want to correct myself on saying that he is not passed away. He actually did pass away in 2013, which is so sad, at 69. So, Blue Dog passed away with him, I guess you could say. But his famous dog became famous in the 1990s. And he was born in 1944. So, you can see how big some of the dog pictures are here. And him painting. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing those as much as I do. Make sure to check out this book on YouTube and read about Blue.